Disney CEO Bob Chapek is the worst thing to ever happen to Disney. He is systematically destroying the company, but they can't remove him because it'll hurt the stock price. What? We're going to talk about it right now. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of Orange Grow 55. So in this video, I kind of want to talk to you about like this disconnect that I'm seeing in the media and just with fans in general, right? There is this kind of there is this narrative out there right now that Bob Chapek is literally the worst thing that's ever happened to the Walt Disney Company. This is a total and complete disaster. He is driving the Walt Disney Company into a ditch, and it's the worst thing. It's just horrible, right? But then when I start to talk to fans or just the community or whatever, I get a lot of excuses, right? And what do I mean by that is like, I'll ask, the community, like, okay, so Chapek's the worst thing that's ever happened to Disney. He's terrible, right? He's doing terrible things at Disney. So why doesn't like Bob Iger, who is still chairman at Disney, by the way, until the end of the year, why doesn't Bob Iger step in and, basically, call a board meeting and vote Chapek out? And the prime kind of like justification or like excuse that I'm hearing from the community is like, well, Iger can't do that, and he can't do that because it would cause it would destabilize the company and it would really hurt the stock price. See, this is where I'm kind of confused. I'm hearing from all the Hollywood trades that Bob Chapek is systematically destroying the Walt Disney Company. He's the worst thing ever. I'm hearing from the trades as well that Bob Iger is appalled. He's aghast at what Bob Chapek is doing, right? And there's this narrative that he's just completely destroying the company. So I find it a little hard to reconcile this idea that here's a man who is a CEO of the Walt Disney Company right now. He is, according to the trades and according to fans, destroying the company. But removing him is going to destabilize the company and tank the stock price. Does that make sense to you guys? If this man is that terrible, if this man poses that much of a threat to the health and the future of the Walt Disney Company, it's a no-brainer. Iger calls a board meeting and you vote him out. Yeah, that's not going to do wonders for the stock price. Yeah, the stock price will take a hit. But if the narrative and the rhetoric is true that Chapek is really, really steering Disney off a cliff, I think that voting him out as CEO, removing him from that position, is the lesser messy option, right? And I don't understand it. I just see a lot of fans just kind of like, well, the stock price, it's going to hurt the stock price, and destroying the company won't hurt the stock price. It makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. And here's the other thing is that you see this kind of thing like right now where Bob Iger is sort of evangelized, right? And rightfully so. I mean, the guy, I love Bob Iger. I'm a huge fan. I actually got his book on my bookshelf. You can't see it from here, but I really, really admire Bob Iger. And I think that Bob Iger does have the best interest of the Walt Disney Company at heart. But a lot of fans also kind of like there's this narrative that Bob Iger won't, call a board meeting to vote Chapek out because, he's kind of like his heart is set on like retirement and he doesn't want to like extend it again because reasons, basically. I find that hard to believe. I think if Bob Iger, and I might be misjudging him, but from what I've gathered from this man over the years of following the career, his career as CEO, he has a deep fondness for the Walt Disney Company and the legacy that Walt Disney created. I find it hard to believe that he would just sit there, if he really believed Bob Chapek was like destroying the company, that he would sit there and just be like, yeah, Bob Chapek is pretty much destroying this iconic, legendary company that's been around for nearly 100 years. But man, I really don't want to delay my retirement a few more months or a year. It's really an inconvenience. I look, I don't know Bob Iger personally. I'm just going by what I know of the man from the outside looking in, and I just don't believe that. I think that if Bob Iger really felt like the trades are claiming that he's appalled at the job that Bob Chapek is doing, I just feel like Bob Iger would step in while he still has that power until the end of the year, and he's not. I mean, he might still, it's not the end of the year yet. We got like another, month and a half, but it's looking less and less likely. So I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I think that if Bob Chapek was this huge threat to the company that he was like, driving it into a ditch, I think we would see a lot more moves from Iger and the board to remove him from that position while Iger is still chairman. And time is we're running out of the runway here. We only have another month and a half, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I don't know. I want you guys to kind of comment below and let me know what you guys think. I just find it really weird how, the narrative out there that Chapek is destroying the company, but somehow removing him from the position is going to cause more damage to the company and more damage to the stock price than keeping him. It doesn't really reconcile for me personally. And also, I do want to also say before we go, it really also depends on how this announcement is made. Look, if Bob Iger comes out and says, hey, look, we voted, me and board, right? Myself and the board, to remove Chapek from the CEO's position. I have an interim CEO, say Peter Rice or somebody with experience, and they're gonna guide the ship, and I'm gonna extend my time as chairman for a few months to kind of ease into that transition. I don't think Wall Street would really punish Disney for that much. I mean, yeah, you might see a dip in the stock price, but I don't think it would be a huge, significant dip. I really don't. I think that I think that a lot of Wall Street would kind of applaud that kind of move because someone like Peter Rice or someone with that kind of experience stepping in and taking over from Chapek. I think a lot of people on Wall Street would actually kind of commend that, and I don't know. It just depends on how the announcement is made. That it's there's a lot of moving parts. But what do you guys think? I would love to hear from you. Comment down below. Thank you all so much for supporting this channel, Orange Grove 55. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye, everybody.